Our next session, Reimagining Healing with Food. Now that's such an important topic, as you can just tell by the name itself, because everything comes from our gut. So I want to welcome our entire panel that's here this afternoon. I would like to welcome Sandy B. Simmons to come up on stage. Sandy. Welcome, Sandy. A big round of applause. Dr. Sucheta Unathan, MD, PhD, Wisdom Incorporation. A big round of applause for Dr. Sucheta. Malini Rustagi, spiritual, holistic, and life coach. Sharon Walt, founder, director of Healthy Living with Dr. Sharon. Pratima Chakravarti, managing director of Jute Land. Shirisha Gandhi, entrepreneur of I, co-founder. Sudha Shastri, coach mentor to be diverse set of people, CXO. A big round of applause for the entire panel out here. Reimagining Healing with Food. Ladies and gentlemen, it's such an important topic this afternoon, healing with food. I would now like to invite our first speaker to come up on stage, Sandy B. Simmons. She's the founder, speaker, mentor, Simply Better Health Co. from Australia. A big round of applause.
Thank you for that warm welcome. I'm very honoured to be here today. My voice hopefully will hold out. I would like to thank Dr. Habeen for having this wonderful conference, and I actually didn't realise it had been going for 25 years, but I'm very honoured to be here, and also would like to acknowledge Shah Moore, who is our Australian representative who got me here. So I just wanted to run by you a little bit about my journey. It encompasses all to do with food. I was born in a little place in Greater London called Plumstead. I don't know if anybody knows that here, but I went to school with being one of the only white people, and this is nearly 60 years ago. I had Indian friends, I had Pakistani friends, I had friends from the West Indies and Africa, and I learned a lot about different cultures as I grew up. Fast forward a little bit to when I was about 12 years old, I had a voice say to me, "You don't need to worry about it now, but in your mid-40s, you're going to be working with natural medicine." So I just thought, okay, I don't have to worry about that right at the moment. The next thing that happened was my father decided that we would go to Australia. And back in the 60s, there wasn't much communication. So we lost touch with a lot of our family and felt quite isolated. But I made friends with many other different cultures that were also migrating, and I think I've been very fortunate to understand a lot about different types of foods. What I'm going to say is that I believe, after becoming that natural health practitioner, that our roots are very important. Our food is very important. We sometimes migrate to different countries, we're all travelling everywhere, but digestive systems are not working. I've seen it so much in the last few years, the last 20 years, and I guess I've been through the mill myself, and I have been to the stage where I haven't been able to eat anything, just white rice and potato, because my gut gave up as well. So what can we do? What can we do to right this? without going into great detail, there's a lot of other unrest going on with foods in the world. But what I'd like to bring forward is my project for a truth farm. It's been in my consciousness for 20 years or more, and it's a place I'd love to build for women to birth in nature, to birth our new souls with the least interference possible. And at the other end of life, I'd like to see a place for many of my clients who have had nowhere to go, who would like to shed their skin in nature. So that's my project. If anybody would love to come and speak to me, I'd love to chat. So thank you.
Thank you so much for this inspiring talk. You're absolutely right. Our roots are very important and our food is very important. So our roots are actually our food. So thank you for sharing that with us, Dr. Simmons. Welcome, Sharon. Stage is all yours.
Thank you. I'm just going to adjust this, go into a bit of a superwoman power stance for a minute, just to give myself... Like there? Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. First off, I want to say thank you to Dr. Harbeen. Still can't hear me. Better? Okay, cool. I was saying I just want to give a big thank you for Dr. Harbeen, and also to say how honored I am to be included in this group of lovely and empowering women. Over the past few days, I have had the opportunity to listen to many inspiring women from across the globe, and it's made me realize how blessed my life has been. Like many of you, my career has taken many zigs and zags over the years, and in my case, I started out as an electronics technician in the Canadian military, and then I became an engineer, and then I decided to further my education and earn my PhD in the field of applied health sciences. And over the years, I've taught and conducted research in 3 different countries. And then, once again, a few years ago, I pivoted. And I went from teaching hundreds of students to working one-on-one with women who are suffering from autoimmune disorders and helping them regain their health. Now, many people around me at the time thought this was a pretty radical departure and actually thought I was quite nuts. But for me, it was just a natural progression along the path of finding out where I needed to be, and in finding different ways of using my unique set of skills to be the most useful. Now, the very first thing that I do with my clients when I start working with them is to look at what they're eating and how they're eating, because these are absolutely fundamental to the healing process. And quite frankly, I wouldn't give any other recommendations for a course of action until we've addressed those two issues. One of the hardest concepts that my clients have is understanding or thinking of food as more than just calories, and choosing foods based on more than their caloric content. Because this whole idea of food as calories is it's fundamentally flawed. It's incredibly misleading and it's inaccurate. Because so much of our food is well beyond caloric content. Its major role is to provide information to every cell in the body on how to function. Now, some of the most exciting research in the last 20 years has been about the influence of food on our DNA and our genetic background, because we now know that our genes aren't our destiny, that our individual genetic expression is quite fluid, and the foods that we eat can influence how that is expressed. So it can either turn on genetic markers that promote wellness, or it could turn them off. And it can also turn on and turn off other genetic markers that produce illness. And one of the biggest environmental factors that is the food that we eat, okay? And we now know that the food that we choose provides more than just fuel for the body, more than just the nutrients that we need for cell growth and functioning. It actually maps out the progress on our journey towards wellness and healing, or alternatively towards illness. And that's because our individual genetic variation also needs to have an individualized approach. Now, I'm just going to cut this short. I want to leave you with one tip for choosing the right food. One of my clients, I was showing them how to read a nutritional label. You know, that's a label on packaged food that you need a magnifying glass in order to read. Yes. And she looked up and said, honestly, you need a biochemistry degree in order to decipher this. And I said, well, yeah, you're not half wrong there. But as an alternative to getting an advanced degree in biochemistry, why don't you just start eating whole foods? Because whole foods are the foods that our body is designed to thrive on. So the choice is yours. And I hope you'll choose wisely, because your health actually depends on it. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Sharon Walt. You are the founder director of Healthy Living, and she's coming all the way from New Zealand. And you're absolutely right. Who is going to go through reading all those labels each and every day? And they're so small. So Whole Foods is the way I think our whole economy is going. So big round of applause for Sharon. She's coming all the way from New Zealand to share this important information with us today. Next, I would like to invite Shirisha Gandhi. If you can please come up on stage. Entrepreneur, co-founder. A warm welcome to you.
LinkedIn Wonder Woman. Yeah, that's okay. Why do women need all these awards? Why are we on stage? I think traditionally women are supposed to be in the kitchen, do errands, manage kids, be somebody's girlfriend, wife. These are not my words though. These are the words that I commonly hear in the business world and the social world. And I'm sure each of us have heard it too. I want to actually start off by thanking each one of you present here for inspiring me and breaking these barriers every day. Thank you. And thank you to the WEF team and Ms. Herbine for arranging this every time, again and again. Thank you. Gorgeous ladies and the few gentlemen here, thank you. My name is Shirisha Gandhi, and I'm a budding entrepreneur. Today I'm here with a very interesting topic, healing with food, but probably I'm just going to share my experiences along with a little bit of my story as well. I believe food is the fuel that we need to perform, and it's like the kind of thing that we need to let our engines run. And we better know what's going into our body, because in today's world, even the fuel has the purity levels that we put in the car, so it's important that we check the purity of the food that goes into our body. Me as a kid, I've always heard my grandmother say, food, the basic ingredients in the kitchen, can do absolute magic to us. The fenugreek seeds soaked overnight and gulped helps a lot with your gut and also gets you beautiful hair. Or the basin, which is the gram flour with your turmeric and honey, is gonna make you look beautiful forever. I grew up listening to all these tiny, tiny tips that make food a healing to your body. It's amazing how, coming from this background and so deeply rooted with my grandmother's stories, after 10 years of me being a full-time stay-at-home mom, I decided to start a business in 2017 to support the elderly, give them back the freedom and the dignity they deserve, because in today's technology, they're so dependent on other people to get things done. So to make it simple for them, we started a services, a PA who would do everything from them, from booking a cab to ordering food to everything. So food is somehow back to relation with us, and I hear my bell. That was a little quick, but I had a lot more story. I'll cut it short. Other than Woo Blue, the reason I think I am here today is all the Wonder Women that I could meet and connect in LinkedIn that has brought me to this place. It is an initiative started to appreciate and spread gratitude between women, because I believe it's really, really important to appreciate and don't even think twice to say thank you to someone who's made a difference in your life, because that thank you could go a long way. So do follow us, get to nominate and appreciate all the Wonder Women in your life, because I know each one of us have more than one Wonder Woman in our life, and they deserve to know that they make a difference in our life. So together, I think we should create a more loving place for the future generation coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Shirisha. Thank you so much for your inspiring words. I think we need a food bank of women energy as well, you know, to be surrounded by. So a big round of applause. Thank you. Next, I would like to invite Malini Rostagi. If you can please come up on stage. She's a spiritual, holistic, and life coach. Warm welcome to you.
Thank you, everyone. I am Malini Rustagi, and I am a holistic life coach. I started my journey 20 years back as a Reiki healer when I was in just 11th standard. What pulled me towards healing was that how come there is something other than medicines which is working on the human body and healing it like anything. So then Reiki came into picture, I learned it, and I started my journey from there. And with time, a lot of other feathers also got accumulated in my cap, like Access Conscious Bars, Theta Healing, Tarot Divination, and much more than that. These are just few names. And now, I really thank from the bottom of my heart to Ms. Arora and Team WEF to bestow this honor of prestigious award, Exceptional Woman of Excellence to me. Thank you so much. And now coming back to the topic of today, that is reimagining healing through food. So what do we all really understand by the term healing? We have heard it a lot of times, but the concept is not clear. Healing is nothing else but a process of restoration of health in a body or a mind which is damaged or is disbalanced somewhere. Now, how do we do it, and what comprises of a body? As per Ayurveda, which is an ancient, supremely scientific and holistic system of medicine in India, our body comprises of 5 elements, that is earth, air, water, fire, and space. And as far as there is a balance in these 5 elements, everything is fine. It works just fine. All the happiness is there, health is there, and prosperity is also there. But a slight disbalance can cause a number of diseases to the body. And food plays a major role in balancing the body, in balancing these all 5 elements. And as per Ayurveda, the food is also categorized under 3 categories. One is sattvic, that is the food for the soul. And then it is tamasic, that is the food which derives our emotions, our anger, agitation, love, and that is something. And the last one is the tamasic one, that is the prohibited food. That is the food which should not go in our body, and that is the fermented food or the rotten ones. So now, what I would like to say here is that a sound mind resides in a sound body, and life in full force is only possible when there is harmony between the two. So the food is playing a very pivotal role over here. It is not just the driving force, but also gives life to the body. It regulates a lot of things in the body like inflammation levels, blood sugar levels, and also cardiovascular health. Cultures around the world also support the importance of food along with the medicine in different arenas. Each culture has its own list of essential food. Modern medicine also honors the importance of food and alongside managing the patient's healing. And I would like to conclude my speech just by giving one phrase that is a quite famous phrase, that let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Malini. Thank you for sharing that with us. Food is our medicine, so if you know how to eat the right things, I think we can heal ourselves. So again, thank you for that perspective. Next, I would like to bring upon our last speaker for this session, Sudha Shastri. She's a coach mentor to diverse set of people, CXOs. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It is indeed an honor and a privilege, especially since this award is from Harbeen, who apart from being a woman of substance is also a role model to a lot of us. And I must tell you this little story. Harbeen, this is about you. So, you know, a couple of years ago, I asked Harbeen, I met her and asked her about All Ladies League and WEF, and I said, how do you even conceptualize something like this? It just sounds so huge and crazy and, you know, quite unimaginable. And I remember something Harbeen told me, and she said, look, you know, I just woke up one day, I figured this had to be done, and karna hai to karna hai. Translated, that means you got to do what you got to do. And when I look back at my life, I think that is the story of my life. I had a baby. He was premature, couldn't go back to work. I became an entrepreneur because the only way I could get flex time was by creating an organization that offered flex time. This was in 1992. And so I set up a workforce with mothers. I had the best of talent because no other company was willing to accommodate them. I just did what I had to do. Because these women were so motivated, and because we were a band of sisters supporting each other, you know, in realizing our dreams and making use of our abilities, we were always ahead of the curve. And for 20 years, we continued to do business. But sometime in my 40s, I started thinking about what I wanted my tombstone to say, what I wanted my epitaph to say, and it wasn't about being in business. I wanted to be in sports development. I do not play sports. I have no particular talent. I run, but I'm not particularly good. I have no background in sports, except for a lot of enthusiasm. But for the last 6 years, I have been working in sports. Thank you, Harbeen. And that is my relationship with food. In India, most of our champions, most of our athletes come from very, very poor and economically backward families. They barely get 1 square meal a day. And these are the champions who need a lot of nutrition. And for the last 2 years, I've been working in the area of coach development, and we have spent a lot of time with nutritionists understanding how to provide them with the nutrition they need in a very economical manner. And one of my key learnings is that whatever we serve from our kitchen shelves has the best nutrients that we can offer our body. Somewhere along the line, I think we've forgotten our Indian roots. We've gotten used to supplements, we've gotten used to packaged foods. I eat a lot of quinoa and stuff myself. But frankly, every time I meet a nutritionist, I am told, go back to the basics and your body will take care of itself and we will produce the champions we need. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Shastri. Such an important line that you said before leaving. Go back to your basics. So a big round of applause for you. With that, I will call upon Dr. Harbeen Arora to do our awards for this session, Reimagining Healing with Food. Would now like to bring upon Sandy B. Simmons founder, speaker, mentor, Simply Better Health, all the way from Australia. A big round of applause. Would now like to call upon Malini Rustagi to come up on stage and receive her award. Exceptional Woman of Excellence. Next, I would like to call upon Sharon Walt, founder director of Healthy Living. Iconic woman creating a better world for all. Next, I would like to call upon Shrisha Gandhi, iconic woman creating a better world for all. Call upon Sudha Shastri to come up on stage and receive her Exceptional Woman of Excellence Award. A big round of applause. I would now like to call upon all the ladies to come up on stage for a quick photograph. New Mexico State University, are you here?